Okay, where's the record button?
I think we're good. It says this session is being recorded.
But I don't want to record it now.
Oh, never mind.
Because then we got to edit all this nonsense out while we're waiting.
Yeah.
I liked it when you used to have a stop button and a pause button.
Oh, yeah. Used to be so much easier.
They don't have that anymore.
Well, no worries, Daryl. If all else fails and it won't let you stop recording, I can just grab the file before we send it off, and I can just cut it. That's what I had to do last time because I didn't know how to stop the recording, and I didn't realize I had started recording really early, so I ended up needing just to
yeah. So now it seems like the only way to stop it is
actually end it.
The webinar.
Yeah. Never mind. No, I can go ahead and edit it before they upload it.
Not only that, where is my button to unpause my screen? All right, so now it should be unpaused.
Yeah, I can see your mouse moving.
So if I change what I'm looking at, now you should be looking at RPro.
Yep.
Now we're back to looking at that. I found the pause button at least. I can pause the video. Now you can't see anything. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. The hard part is remembering the setup in Retail Pro 9.
With everything that you need, yeah.
Where you go to tell it what you're doing. Options, system preferences, local, nothing there. And the sell tenders. Make sure charge is available for making sales. Returns and SO deposits. And then telling it down here that you need at least a first name and last name. And why you need a company on return, I don't know. And General. Somewhere there's a one that says that they've got to be marked as accounts receivable.
To AR customers only.
Yeah. Hi, Patrick. Welcome. Hi, Patrick. Welcome. We'll give it a couple more minutes here, and we will start up. All right. Hi, my name is Daryl Franklin. I'm one of the trainers here at Big Hairy Dog. Today we're going to take a look at Retail Pro uh, version 9 uh, and using accounts receivable as well as account link with QuickBooks. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them uh, during the program. Uh, we're going to start out with how we can create an AR charge in Retail Pro. We'll take a look at system preferences. We'll take a look at our charge tender. We'll make sure we have a payment on account or POA tender set up so that when someone goes to pay their AR charge, they have a way to do that in Retail Pro. We'll also take a look at how to report those charges in Account Link, and we'll look at a little bit on setting up Account Link, and we'll look at bringing those transactions over to QuickBooks. So we will start out here in Retail Pro. I have already gone into System Preferences. And in System Preferences, as soon as I can get this thing out of my way, I can see what I'm doing. Right. So in System Preferences, and I will review getting there. We get to System Preferences, we go Options and System Preferences. We can then set up our system preferences to allow us to do accounts receivable. So I'm going to go to Local Preferences. I'm going to go to Customers. I will look under General for Customers. And we have our basic setup for our customers. And there's nothing we really need to do here for accounts receivable. We're just making sure we have a customer's set up. we're going to go down to Documents, and under General for Documents, again, we don't need to set up anything special for accounts receivable. Under Point of Sale, and under General and Options, again, nothing absolutely special here we need to set up. Uh, Under Fees and Shipment, there is something we need to set up. We need to make sure that we have that POA, Payment on Account fee set up. So, with that set up, we're all set to take charge payments back. We're going to switch out of there. We're going to go down to Tenders. We'll go to Requirements. We want to make sure that we have the charge tender set up so that we can use it for sales, for returns, and for charging an SO deposit. We also want to make sure that down here under Requirements that we have at least a first name, last name turned on for someone doing an AR charge. You can also require company if you desire, as well as anything else, such as phone number, address, whatever you may want for your business. For receipts, nothing really special here we need to set up. And so that basically gets our Retail Pro all set up to handle AR charges. We will update so that our changes apply. We're then ready to actually start making sales. If we run off to Sales, and we go to Receipts, you can see here I have a couple of sales that I've already done. I did a sale with a check, and I made a sale here that I paid for with a check. And this one is a POA, a payment on account. We also have a sale that I made that uses a credit card to pay for that sale. Another sale with a credit card, another one, and another one. We've got a sale that I did for a cash payment, and we have one that we did with a charge payment. To do a sale with the charge payment, all we have to do is come up to a new sale, enter an item that we want to sell. Before we can do an AR, we need to have a customer's name on the receipt and who we're going to be charging it to. Otherwise, we're going to get errors when we try to read over that to our QuickBooks and account link. So we want to be sure that we choose a customer. That customer also needs to be marked as an AR customer in Retail Pro so that it will send that customer over to your account link and to your QuickBooks accounting. We've got this one set up. We're going to charge that one. We can do a charge sale. You can add terms if you want to, depends on how you have things set up, whether it requires terms or doesn't. Mine is set up so I don't require terms. We have the total amount. We say OK. We've now got that as a charge sale. We can print it, update it, or I don't need to print it, so I'm simply going to update it. And we can't enter our login because we can't type in our password. So we correct our password, so we're logged back in, and that sale has now been finalized. And we can see over here in our list view of receipts, we can see that sale that I just made today, right there at the top of the screen. All right. I have my check marks turned on, which shows me whether that receipt has been read over through account link to GL and to AR for accounts receivable. On a charge sale, both AR and GL should both be checked. If you have a charge sale or a payment on account and both AR and GL are not checked, you're going to have a problem when you read that over and try to post it into your QuickBooks accounting. So, account link. I've got my account link open down here. In my account link, when we go to set up account link, we go to options, we go to preferences. You can tell this yes or no, depending on how many you have, depends on how long it takes it to do it. Uh, Anything that is in that purge batch, you can't do anything about. It is gone and just hanging out in a trash bucket, ready for you to empty. Doesn't change anything of what you can see or can't see. All right, here in account link, the first setting we have is what accounting software we're using. And we're going to be using QuickBooks. You also have the option of BusinessWorks, Mass 90, or Sage 100. Under GL accounts, with QuickBooks, you're going to turn on flexible account structure. What that means is it's going to use the QuickBooks name of the account. QuickBooks doesn't use the QuickBooks account numbers. If you assign an account number, uh, QuickBooks doesn't care one way or the other because account link is going to look at the name of the account, not the number anyway. Under GL options, it says what tenders are available to accept. And you want to make sure that charge is one of those checked tenders. Under AR options, you want to make sure that charge is selected as well as your POA fee for making your payments. The addresses are the address lines it's going to pull out of Retail Pro and bring over to your QuickBooks. Way down here under QuickBooks, under AR, we want to tell it the AR account is accounts receivable. The payment account and the return accounts are also accounts receivable. And QuickBooks account link cannot post directly to QuickBooks. Therefore, you have to run it through an AR clearing account. That AR clearing account should always have a balance of 0. When you send something over from account link to QuickBooks and something's in that AR clearing account, the AR clearing account will have a general journal entry, which includes the total of the AR clearing and all the vouchers or invoices that may be on that receipt. It also includes each individual receipt. And it posts the total GL for AR clearing. Then it subtracts or adds each of the following invoices, depending on whether it's a payment on account or a charge. And when all is said and done, you're going to end up with a balance of 0. If you don't end up with a balance of 0, then something went wrong, and the ideal thing to do is to give us a call. We'll help you figure out what went wrong. And after a time or two, you may have figured out exactly what we're doing to fix it, and you can certainly fix it on your own. Uh, if you have an issue fixing it, you can always call us and we will always help you. The same thing would apply to accounts payable. If you were doing accounts payable, under accounts payable, you've got accounts payable for your AP accounts, and you've got AP clearing for your clearing account for accounts payable. Under store account manager, you set up your stores and you tell it exactly where in QuickBooks your stuff is going to go to. And as we scroll down through it, we can see where things are going. We can see our charge accounts are going to go to AR clearing. And we can see that our fee number one, which we set up as our POA fee, is also going to go to AR clearing. We save those changes, and account link is all set up and ready to go. In QuickBooks, other than making sure that AR clearing and AP clearing accounts exist in QuickBooks, we don't really have to do anything particularly special. When we're ready to read a batch, we go over to batches, we go to receipts, we tell it we want to read a batch, and we tell it what day we want to read that batch for. Most of the sales I have in there occurred on the 9th, so I'm going to choose the 9th as my date to read. You're entering the dates for receipts in account link. You have 3 dates. You've got a receipts marked. That is the name of the batch or the Iif file that it's going to create. You have the start date and the end date. The start date and end date, 99% of the time for accounts receivable, for sales, are going to be the same date. So all 3 dates are going to be the same date, so you know when everything occurred. We tell it OK. It goes out and looks at Retail Pro and sees if it can find anything that needs to be brought over for that day. When it does, it summarizes that information. We have our undeposited funds. We have our charge, AR clearing. We can see the amount of our AR clearing batch. We've got our cost of goods sold. We've got our Visa credit card sales, MasterCard, American Express, Discover card. We've got our total sales. And we have our POA for our AR clearing. And if we go down a little further, we also have our inventory number, which you'll notice matches your cost of goods number. How do you know if this is a good batch? There's 2 things you want to check for. You want to make sure that down here, your debit and credit for the batch match. You don't care what those 2 numbers are, you just want to make sure they're both the same. The other number you're typically going to check is the merchant sales number. To check that number, the best way to do it is in Retail Pro. You want to run an X out or Z out. And so if we go to our former Z outs, and we look at our Z out for the 9th, we can see here that my total sales should be 840, and that's what account link says for total sales. We're looking at the net sales number, not the sales number, because the sales number is going to include returns. The net sale will not include returns. So you want to look at the net sales number because that's what's going to show up in that merchandise sales number in account link. If you wanted to, you could go through and check any of the other numbers you wanted to, such as sales tax or the fee, which is the paid on account fee. You can see that down here. And you can verify those numbers if you wish, but you don't need to. If these two numbers at the bottom match and your merchandise sales number matches the net sales, you should be in good shape. If the merchandise sales number does not match the net sales, then you're going to look for one of the accounts over here under account names being either receipt transaction discounts or sales discounts. Those, if they have a number in them, are not going to be part of this merchandise sales number. 9 out of 10 times, they're going to be in the debit column. And so you would subtract those from whatever's in merchandise sales to match that net sales number that is on your Z out or X out. All right. So ours all looks good. It all matches. So we can go up here and we can post that batch. I always change the posting date to whatever date I'm posting for. Do not post by transaction. Always post by either store or company. If you post by transaction, you're going to have a real mess in your accounting software. It will create a separate general journal entry for each transaction you have. I've only got 7, which is going to be ugly. But if I had 100 sales, I would have 100 separate GL entries, and it would be impossible to figure out where something went wrong if I had an error when I posted that batch. So you want to consolidate it by store or company. We go OK, and it posts that batch. I say OK. That batch is now moved from being an active batch being in my archive batches, which I can then go and review it if I desire. Now that we've posted it, I go over to Account Link. In Account Link, I'm going to tell it I want to read in those batches. I'm going to read those batches in. We're going to go up here to File. We're going to come down to Utilities. We're going to go over to Import. We're going to import an Iif file. Depending on which version of QuickBooks you're running, I'm running version 20. I have to close all windows before I can import that Iif file. If your QuickBooks version is before 18, you won't get that message. Anything after 18, 19 or more, you're going to get this message. You're going to choose OK. And the obvious solution seems to hit Import Iif file. That is not what you want to do. You want to come down here to Import it for me. I'll fix it later. You choose that. You're going to get this pop-up that says, we don't recommend this method for importing files. Some of the info might not be correct. You can go back, or you can go import it, or you can go cancel. I'm going to go import Iif file. It then says, where is this Iif file? I put the Iif files on the shared drive. So my Iif files are here on my data drive in a folder called QB Data. In that QB Data folder, I can see I have a receipt here marked 11.9. I've also got a couple of old ones. I can take the old ones, drag them and put them away in the imported batches folder. That way you won't accidentally reopen them, because QuickBooks will allow you to import the same file more than once. I'm going to select my receipts marked. I'm going to say open. Because I have my credit limit set up as 0, it lets me know that I had an import of an AR charge. And the only real choice here is yes. You want to continue, because if you say no, then it's not going to bring in the sale that you've already made. So we're going to say yes. It says it's all done. We say OK. I can then go back to my home screen. I can go to my chart of accounts, and I can run down and find AR clearing. And we can see AR clearing is 0. That means everything came over OK. If I double click on AR clearing, I can actually see what came in. I can see here's my general journal for my charge. I have another general journal entry for my payments on account. I then have my invoices. I've got my charge invoice of 261, and I have my payment on account of 111. And that ends me back at zero. I started at zero. If you have an issue in Account Link, you're going to check your batch. If it's not zero, you want to look up, find the general journal, and look at the last invoice receipt or payment receipt above that, and you should have entered in zero before the general journal started. If it's not in zero, then you got to go back further because you haven't necessarily found the problem yet. If the bottom number matches the bottom number on the previous invoices, then the invoice that you just looked at, the bottom one here, is correct, but there's something wrong with the one above it. And so you keep working your way up until you get back to a zero, and then you can work your way down from there, fixing items. So we've now posted this batch. If I go to my customer list, and I look at my customer here, I can see we have the invoice, and I can also see we have a payment. I can apply that payment to an invoice that is still outstanding. And there's a couple of ways to do that. One is to go to each individual customer and do it. But I prefer to go up here to reports, go to customers and receivables, go to open invoices, and that will show you for a customer any invoices or payments that are still open. So I can see here I have a payment and I've got an invoice. The payment has a negative number, the invoice has a positive number. I want to click on the invoice I want to pay. By double clicking on it, it's going to open up my create an invoice window, and I can apply credits. And I've got the 110 that I can apply. I say done. That invoice is now paid. We can do a save and close, and I can tell it to apply that update. Now I see that the invoice and the payment went away, and all I've got left is the one payment here that hasn't been paid. I can also see here under my customer record and over here under my open balance, the only thing left that has a balance is my new charge that was just made. All the other ones are zero under open balance, meaning they've all had payments and credits applied to them. All right. Any questions on using accounts receivable and account link to post your transactions into QuickBooks? I don't hear any questions. No. Again, my name is Daryl Franklin. If you have any issues or questions, feel free to give us a call. You can call us at 916-368-1070, or you can drop us an email. You can drop an email to tech, T-E-C-H, at bighairydog.com. Or you can drop an email to myself at Darrell F, D-A-R-R-E-L-L, F as in Frank, at bighairydog.com, and we'll be glad to get back to you on that. If it's something more complicated that we can answer in an email, then we'll give you a call to discuss the answer to your question. So I hope everybody got some good stuff, and We'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye bye.